Tucked away in the icy expanse of northwest Alaska lies Kivalina, a small Inupiat village teetering on the edge of existence. Located on a narrow barrier island between the Chukchi Sea and the Kivalina Lagoon, this community of fewer than 400 residents faces an existential crisis brought about by the dual forces of climate change and coastal erosion. To an outsider, the village might seem like a quaint, isolated community rich in Inuit traditions. But to its residents, it is ground zero for the consequences of a warming planet. Kivalina serves as a microcosm of the broader environmental and cultural challenges faced by indigenous communities worldwide, a place where rising seas and eroding coastlines threaten not only homes and infrastructure, but also a way of life that has endured for centuries. For generations, the Inupiat people of Kivalina have lived in harmony with their environment, relying on the land, sea, and ice for sustenance and cultural identity. Subsistence activities such as hunting seals, whales, and fish are not only vital for survival but also deeply embedded in their traditions, shaping their sense of community and spirituality. However, the delicate balance between humans and nature is unraveling as climate change accelerates. Rising global temperatures have led to the rapid melting of Arctic ice, destabilizing ecosystems that the Inupiat people depend on. Sea ice, which once shielded the village from the ferocious waves of the Chukchi Sea, now forms later in the year and melts earlier, leaving Kivalina increasingly exposed to storm surges and coastal erosion. The physical geography of Kivalina exacerbates its vulnerability. The barrier island on which the village sits is a mere 8 miles long and less than half a mile wide, with an average elevation of just 6 feet above sea level. In recent decades, the island has been shrinking at an alarming rate as powerful storm surges and high tides wash away the coastline. A 2018 report by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers estimated that Kivalina could become uninhabitable by 2025 if no significant intervention is undertaken. Already, storm damage has forced residents to abandon some homes and buildings, while others teeter precariously close to the edge of the eroding shoreline. Every passing year brings the village closer to the grim reality of being submerged under the rising sea. The plight of Kivalina is emblematic of the disproportionate impact of climate change on indigenous and marginalized communities. While the village contributes almost nothing to global greenhouse gas emissions, it bears the brunt of the consequences wrought by industrialized nations' consumption patterns. This stark inequity has transformed Kivalina into a symbol of climate justice, drawing the attention of scientists, activists, and policymakers worldwide. Yet, despite the growing awareness, the resources and support needed to address the crisis have been slow to materialize. One of the most pressing challenges facing Kivalina is the need for relocation. For years, the community has debated moving to a safer location on the mainland, a process fraught with logistical, financial, and cultural obstacles. Relocation is not as simple as building new homes elsewhere. It requires careful planning to ensure the preservation of the community's cultural and social fabric. The estimated cost of moving the village ranges from $100 million to $400 million, a staggering sum for a small community with limited economic resources. Federal and state funding has trickled in over the years, but not at the scale needed to facilitate a full-scale relocation. In the meantime, residents continue to live in a state of uncertainty, with each passing storm season raising fears of catastrophic loss. The challenges of relocation go beyond financial constraints. For the Inupiat people, the land is more than just a place to live. It is a source of identity, history, and spiritual connection. Leaving Kivalina would mean severing ties with the ancestral land that has sustained their community for generations. It would also disrupt their subsistence lifestyle, as many traditional hunting and fishing grounds are located near the village. For elders in particular, the prospect of moving is deeply unsettling, as it represents the loss of not just a physical home, but a way of life that has defined their existence. Balancing the need for safety with the desire to preserve cultural heritage is a delicate and emotionally charged task that underscores the complexity of Kivalina's predicament. Climate change has also introduced new challenges to the village's subsistence practices, further straining the community's resilience. The thinning and retreating sea ice have made hunting more dangerous and unpredictable, while warming waters have affected fish populations, disrupting traditional food sources. These changes threaten the food security of Kivalina's residents, many of whom already live below the poverty line and cannot afford to rely solely on store-bought goods. The loss of traditional subsistence activities is not just a practical issue, but a cultural one, as these practices are integral to the Inupiat way of life, teaching values of cooperation, respect for nature, and intergenerational knowledge transfer. Amid these challenges, the people of Kivalina have demonstrated remarkable resilience and ingenuity. Community leaders and activists have worked tirelessly to raise awareness about their situation, forging alliances with environmental organizations and advocating for climate action at the national and international levels. In recent years, the village has taken steps to adapt to its changing environment, including the construction of a rock revetment wall to slow coastal erosion. While these efforts provide temporary relief, they are not a long-term solution to the existential threat facing the village. Education and youth engagement have also emerged as crucial components of Kivalina's response to climate change. Programs that combine traditional knowledge with modern science are empowering young people to become stewards of their environment and advocates for their community. For example, initiatives that teach students about climate science, sustainable practices, and advocacy skills are equipping the next generation with the tools they need to navigate an uncertain future. These efforts highlight the importance of preserving cultural heritage while preparing for the challenges of a changing world. Kivalina's struggle is not just a local issue, but a global one, offering a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of humanity and the environment. The village's fate is a harbinger of what lies ahead for countless other coastal and indigenous communities if urgent action is not taken to address climate change. It is a call to action for policymakers, scientists, and individuals to prioritize climate justice and support those on the front lines of the crisis. At the same time, Kivalina's story is a testament to the resilience and strength of indigenous communities in the face of adversity. Despite the overwhelming challenges, the people of Kivalina continue to fight for their survival and the preservation of their culture. Their determination serves as an inspiration to others, reminding us of the importance of community, identity, and the enduring human spirit in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. In the end, the future of Kivalina hinges on collective action. It will require a concerted effort from governments, NGOs, scientists, and individuals to secure the resources needed for relocation, support sustainable adaptation measures, and address the root causes of climate change. As the clock ticks down for this tiny village on the edge of the Arctic, the question remains: will the world rise to the challenge, or will Kivalina become a tragic footnote in the history of climate change?